Okay, so we got to meet two new people. Now, I've known Shinobi Slots since for probably close to a decade. I've never seen him, so I didn't even know. I didn't realize it. I just thought it was because the videos that I watched, he had never shown his face.
But he's never shown his face before.
Guess who you're about to meet? You're about to meet
Albert from Shinobi Slots.
Albert from Shinobi Slots, who did a fantastic. I can't believe he did this for us, but you're going to see Albert's face, and he's great. Oh my gosh! So take a look.
Okay, hey you guys, I have got this really incredible table of people. This is the one, the only Shinobi Slots. Now we've been watching this guy for years, and nobody has seen his face. In fact, somebody recognized you today on the floor just by voice.
By your voice.
It's all over now. It is all over now because your face is known. And we have gotten Lori Lovebox. You guys,
you've seen her face.
You've seen her face. You guys, these guys joined us on the floor of the beautiful casino Yaamava, and this is Linda Trin. We are on the beautiful property of Yaamava, formerly known as San Manuel. We're going to talk to San Manuel, the folks here, to find out about the sort of evolution of this beautiful casino, which is stunning, and the recent rebranding. But we are going to talk to them, these guys. Now, tell me how you guys got into. How did you end up getting into video slots? Are you doing it to? Start with you.
Albert, go first.
Actually, let me actually go back in time.
Okay.
To when I first got introduced to gambling and to casinos.
Okay.
Let's
right.
go there.
Because that didn't actually happen when I was an adult. For me, that happened back in like 1977.
Really?
Okay, I'm actually old enough that I watched the original Star Wars in the theater.
Oh, wow.
Guilty. Same.
There you go.
Yeah.
Classic, of course.
Yes.
And so my dad loved to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So, we didn't go to Yosemite. We didn't go to like summer camp.
We always went to
that.
casinos.
We went to Vegas. That was our summer destination.
That was me too.
And we went in, we drove in his old Econoline van.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so when we got to Vegas, he left us in the car. He just left us in the van, in the parking
In the hot car in
Yes.
Vegas. Just locked the,
Yes.
rolled up the windows, left you in there.
Now you might think that's abusive. You might today it's probably illegal.
would be.
Yes.
Probably illegal.
Yes.
But we loved it.
That was awesome. That's awesome.
The reason we loved it though was because we knew he was gone for at least 2 to 3 hours. Absolutely, he wouldn't come back.
Right.
2 to 3 hours he was gone, which meant that we could go into the hotel. We could explore around a little bit. And in the late 70s and early 80s, that was the golden age of arcades.
Really?
Oh, that's
Okay.
right. You're right.
Space Invaders just came out. Pac-Man just came out. All the old classic arcades, they just came out, and every hotel in Las Vegas had an arcade.
Right, because for the kids.
Yes, exactly. So
yeah.
the golden age. If you remember. Planet Hollywood Hotel
Yep.
in Las Vegas. Okay, before that there was an Aladdin Hotel.
Yes.
And they had a very nice
I
arcade. You
remember
walk up
them.
the escalator, there was a whole line, a whole hall room of arcades before you went to the casino. And the old the Bally's Hotel
Right.
that used to be MGM Grand.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom, they had a huge arcade.
It was
at the
big
bottom.
back then.
So we loved it. When my dad went to the casino, we were like, we don't care. We'll
Yes,
go into
please.
the arcade and we'll have all our fun. So
That's
we loved
amazing.
it. We loved going to Las Vegas. But then also back then in the late 70s and 80s, Vegas was different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It was like-
this was before the familification.
Correct.
Remember when it became family, like in the late
Exactly.
80s, early 90s? Yeah, this was still like kind of really
like
skanky.
the old mob run Vegas.
Skanky Vegas.
Yeah. And then the focus back then was like gambling.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a lot of gambling back then, and you could get really, cheap prices on the buffets, and that was another draw that you get you in. 99-cent breakfast, $1.99 lunch, $2.99 dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the buffet was really cheap. So after we went to the arcade, we would go to the buffet, and to get to the buffet, we would have to walk through the casino. And so it was at that time that I got like imprinted with like the whole casino experience.
The
in terms of, like, the
sounds.
sound, the smell, the clinking of the coins.
Right.
Yeah.
The real coins, which would
Right,
be
just like the
the
buckets,
real
right?
nasty
Yeah.
bucket coins.
Buckets, everything.
Oh,
We had to
gosh.
walk through the casino, and with my parents. But I just all that kind of imprinted on me. It just feels right. And
Right.
to this day, every time I walk in, it just feels like home.
But
it just feels like home because it started back then.
I love
'Cause
that.
I was so young and
Right.
it imprinted on me.
Right. I never thought of it that way, but we were the same way. We always did vacations at casinos, right? Vegas was like the destination. So yeah, my grandparents and my parents, everyone loved to be on the floor, whether it's table games or slots. But I always enjoyed it because, like you said, we had places to go, which was the arcade. But it was just fun
It was fun, you
to
know.
hear all of it.
And then also just, you know, the whole casino
Yeah.
environment, you know, just kind of, you know, especially I grew up in Southeast LA, which wasn't like an affluent neighborhood or anything like that. And
Right.
then to go to Las Vegas with these good, you know, gorgeous hotels,
Right.
Caesar's Palace, you know, hell, I don't know if you remember the Imperial Palace Hotel.
Yes.
I do not remember it.
Yes, I do.
That was before that eventually became the Link Hotel. Okay, so before they converted it, everybody said it was like you know, it had deteriorated.
It was.
But when they first built it, it was beautiful.
Yes.
You know, everything I remember it had a really nice Japanese theme. It was gorgeous. Okay,
But
back
then
in the
yes,
day.
and then it eventually like you know.
It eventually just deteriorated
Right.
over time. But
Right.
you know, again, you get that experience. Just
Do
as
you
a
remember
kid.
that hotel?
Yeah.
And it was, I think by the time I saw it, it was pretty,
Yeah, it was run down.
dark.
It was
Right.
It was pretty,
Like
pretty
trust me, they never changed the carpet since they built it. Like, I'm pretty sure that would happen. You know, but it was beautiful at the time. And again, for a kid, just kind of getting acclimated to that,
Right.
you know, environment. It's like, oh, this is far different from home.
Yeah.
So classy and everything was, you know, nice, and we like going there.
Yeah.
So you know, it was something we just kept, you know, wanting to go back every year.
So when was it that? So now that's when you got introduced
To
to
the
the
casino
world of
environment.
casinos and slots and the sound. And when was it that you decided I want to get on the machine? I want to be the
That occurred about 10 years later.
Okay.
So what happened was about 10 years later, my mom was like playing video poker. You know, and we kind of knew how to play poker. We were
Yeah.
just kind of showing her, okay, hold this card, you know, draw this card. And, you know, we were giving her our lunch money. We were just, oh, just playing, you know, just give it a try, right? And then but maybe, I don't know if it's the worst thing or the best thing happened. She hit like 4 aces.
Oh
Okay.
God,
And
that
so, you know,
feeling.
so we won the money,
Yeah.
right? You know, and that pretty much was like the trigger for like, okay, I'm going to be gambling for like the rest of my life kind of situation. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, you know, but that was like the thing. It's like, okay, cool, you know, we won, and then it was like now we started getting a little more, you know, involved in the gambling part of it.
Right.
You know, so we kind of grew up and we moved away from the arcades, which by the way, I still like arcades.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But, you know, we started getting interested in like video poker and, you know, watching her play slot machines. You know, we couldn't actually step on the floor yet.
Sure.
But we could at least, you know, kind of see what she's doing, and we got interested in
It
it.
was that feeling that just that excitement that you feel, right?
Right,
That
exactly.
little-
That whole excitement of, you know, taking the risk.
Right.
Putting in some, $1.25 and getting $400
Right,
out.
yeah.
You know, that kind of situation. And then my dad was, you know, he was showing us how to play blackjack. And then over time, when I eventually turned 21 in the 90s, you know, of course I went to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But I started playing table games more. I just
Okay.
wasn't really into like the 3-reel slot machine
Sure.
at the time. And I think for like a good 18 years, I was playing nothing but table games.
Okay.
Playing craps, playing slot machine, blackjack and roulette. You know,
So
pretty
what
much.
finally got you to the slot side?
That happened in 2010.
Okay, and isn't that when you created your channel or around
The
that
channel
time?
was already created. I think I just kind of created a channel, not for slots, but I
just to
have one. I
get the
guess.
experience of okay.
Yeah, I just had a channel for some reason, and then in 2010 I was in Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
Okay, and then I was there and I was playing craps and I lost, you know, just like, you know, so I'm like, okay, you know what, let me just take a break. Let me just go step outside, take some breath of fresh air.
Right.
And let me, like, you know, think about what I'm going to do next. And just as I was walking out the door, there was a WMS Lord of the Rings slot.
Oh,
Right
okay.
outside. And I was like, you know, I like the movie. You know,
Yeah.
let me just give it a try.
That's what got you in.
I love that. Okay.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Wow.
Hook, line, and sinker. I was like, it just totally blew me away because I didn't like the real slots because, you know, I like video games. I like the
Right.
graphics.
Yeah.
I like
Right,
that
yeah.
stuff, and I didn't really care much for the mechanical. part
Right.
of it.
Okay.
But that was like the first like real video slot that I played that was just blew me away because they had all the graphics and all
Right.
the sound.
And you had an emotional connection to
right.
the movies, so I
Right.
think that like brought you in.
And
Okay.
that just ever since then, that totally pulled me away from the tables. once I started playing that, I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
You know, and then I started getting into other things. And then one of the things, as far as like the YouTube channel was concerned, concerned was they were actually that was actually really innovative because that was really advanced for its time.
Right.
Because that system you could log in and keep track of your progress. If you
That was exactly. There was some.
That's
I think
right.
it started with Star Trek with WMS.
Right.
WMS started that thing where you could actually go on and you can keep your progress on a game.
Right.
You're exactly right.
Right, and you could collect miles and unlock bonuses.
Right.
And then you could unlock features. So
Okay.
It was very innovative.
I remember
Very
that.
innovative,
Yeah.
And then another thing is that you could actually go online and
Right.
earn like more points to advance your progress. So then what happened was I went online, of
Yeah.
course, and then it just so happened they were connected to an internet forum called Players Life.
Okay.
And then on Players Life, that's where I discovered the slot community.
Oh.
So all of a sudden I found people who liked playing slots and they were like, oh, you play the slot, I like playing the slot, and everyone was talking about
Right.
it.
That was WMS, wasn't it? Players
Right.
Life was WMS and
Right.
everything. And I mean, I remember that because I remember seeing that on Star Trek and then Lord of the Rings. We were like, that is brilliant. That is getting new young players
Right.
because people who play like you to get them involved in slots. That's amazing. I love that story.
Yeah, and then when I discovered the slot community,
Right.
then all of a sudden, like, you started seeing the beginnings of like the YouTube slot channels because they started in the forums. They started posting pictures.
So that's where it started, right? Just
And then somebody, I don't know exactly who it was, but somebody decided I'm going to try, taking a video.
Right.
Let me just record a little bit. Now, back then, this is kind of funny because back in the day, they didn't have like these fancy iPhones.
No.
The iPhone came out in what, 2007? Somewhere around there.
It's all blurred.
2007.
Right.
And they had like, I think the people who first recorded, they were using point and shoots. They were using point and shoots. Some people were even using like full-size DSLR
Right.
cameras.
Oh, that's subtle.
yeah. Because I bet it was a lot more hard to
That didn't-
get on the
That
floor to
didn't
do
that didn't bother any of the security guys. You know,
Right.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
The DSLR
Like a
like
sore
there.
Yeah.
Well, at least they didn't bring like a big camcorder.
Exactly.
But then another thing too is like I think people were experimenting at the time.
Right.
Like somebody was using like those glasses with the camera.
Yeah, I saw them. They actually had them, but the aim was never good.
Yeah, exactly. And think about it. You had to stand like it did that look real natural.
You could tell.
Exactly. You didn't want to move.
Well, I heard that it was Slot Queen Deb and
Right.
and it was Slot Queen Deb and
something Pappy.
and that group, and then also Diana Ivani.
Diana Ivani.
Diana
Yeah.
Ivani, and those are the guys who really started doing this channel thing. And everything.
Right.
So I'm like Diana Ivani.
Right.
Yes, exactly. So we definitely have to give kudos to the
Absolutely.
the pioneers
The
who were
OGs.
willing to take the chance, who were willing
Diana
to get
Ivani, we're
caught.
coming for you because she's my
Right.
buddy,
Oh, I
and she's
love
taking care of her
Diana.
mom right now. We're
Yeah.
wishing you well. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk to you too.
So from there, you just started uploading and doing your gameplay, and it just evolved from that.
Yeah, exactly. So once you realize like, okay, well, first of all, I was still a little bit hesitant about the whole thing because there was the question of like, are people really gonna watch
Yeah.
slot machine channel?
Sure.
Okay, but then I discovered 4 words: red hot nickel ball.
What?
Red hot nickel ball.
Red hot
Nic-
nickel ball.
Okay, now that sounds weird, but the reason why that comes to mind is because I ended up watching a YouTube video where somebody took a metal ball, they used a blowtorch, they heated it up, and all they did was just drop it on things, on a block of ice, on a watermelon.
All right.
Okay.
It's like Blender stuff.
And then-
Millions of views.
And then you were like, if they're willing to watch
if they're
that,
willing to watch that, yes, exactly.
You could
there
wa-
has to be an audience for
right?
slot
And
channel.
there absolutely
There
is an
absolutely is.
audience.
There has to be.
Right.
So that whole thing is like the epiphany that I'm like, okay, there's a community here for it. There's people who are interested, and it was just kind of like the beginning of it.
Right.
So I mean, for me, fortunately, I was able to kind of get into like the whole slot channel thing pretty early on.
Yeah.
And at the time, I think there was like only 10 or 15 channels.
Right.
So I was at least able to get my foot in the door.
Right.
While I still had the chance. And at the time, I was just low rolling it. I mean, when I say low rolling, I mean real low rolling, like quarters
when
and
I
50
play.
cents.
Yeah, that's how we
When I
play
play.
now.
Yeah.
But there was an audience for
Right.
it. People were like, okay, well, there's only a few slot channels, so there's a low rolling end, and then the high rolling
limit.
was what, $10 a spin, 20,
Right.
maybe $25 a spin if you were a real
Like
fan.
a huge, right? And now that's
Nothing
almost
like
like a
today.
standard.
Yeah.
Today is
Nothing like
standard.
today,
Yeah.
So that's
But
that's
that
pretty
started the
incredible.
whole thing. That started the whole thing as far as like, okay, let me get my foot in the door, and then it just kind of grew from there in terms of like, okay, I never made a business out of it. I was
Yeah.
just doing it casually. But ever since then, I've had my ups and downs, and I've had to temporarily, kind of get away from it.
Sure.
But I've gone back into it, and the channel's doing actually better than it ever has.
That's amazing.
You know, and it's just, you know, being consistent and producing quality video.
Right.
You know, if you do that, even if you're not going to be the next Brian Christopher,
But
you know,
it's
as long
just-
as you do those
yeah.
things, you know, you're able to at least, you know, have a good solid channel.
You know, and the thing is, we just spent the week with Brian and everything, and everybody who's doing this, everybody who loves slots, that's what with this channel is all about.
Yeah.
It's about, you know, and we really do, you know, we just make games. We just make games, you know, and everything, but you guys plan, and you guys are the full circle. You bring this back to us, let us know how we're doing, and it is such a great conversation to have. And we've been watching you for years, and I can tell you, my mathematicians have been watching you, and I think that you actually talked to one of our guys many years ago, and you've given us some great tips, and we really appreciate all that you do and continue to do. So you guys, this, and like again, I said, this is his face. So he's never anonymous again. Now, on our next episode, we're going to go talk to, look who's we're going to go talk to here. Everything. Where do you see your channel going in the next 5 years? Where do you see it going?
Well, again, depending on the situation I have, unfortunately, with my parents, if you know if situation settles, what I would like to do is kind of continue what I did here with Lori in terms of actually, you know, meeting with channels again, collaborating
Yes.
with channels. I did that early on, but I had to kind of move away from it. But I would like to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and then do some of the live streams. Lori's been very successful with her live streams. Everybody's seen her face. Everybody
Well, and
loves
the
Lori.
thing is, live stream is like the next big thing, in my opinion, right? People love that now. The immediate communication, the immediate chatting, and at first I didn't think people would do it. Like, you're gonna sit around and chat with someone as they're playing a game, but it is huge. People love it. I mean, there's so many live streams for everything, but what I love seeing is how you guys are putting that, using that on your home channels, and seeing success in that, because I think that's the next thing in entertainment is live streaming.
You guys, Shinobi Slots, one of the pioneers, one of the people who've been doing this for a really long time. He's sharing his identity with us. We really do appreciate you doing that on our channel.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's great. Okay, in our next episode, we are going to talk to Everi Luckbox, and we're all going to sit, and you're going to be in the hot seat. So you're going to have to come back for that one, okay?
Okay, so we got to know Albert. So tune in next time. We are going to get to know Lori. So Lori's got a lot to say, and she is adorable.
She's too much fun.
She's so much
Lori
fun.
from Lori Luckbox.
Lori Luckbox. So stay tuned next time. You'll see Lori Luckbox. See you then.